All right, everybody, it's time to get started. Please find a seat. We've got so many wonderful things to go through this evening. Thank you. I'm Abby Marquard, president of AAO. Good evening, and thank you so much for being here at the... Thank you so much for being here at the 2021 AAO Signature Event and Award Ceremony. As you will see, a main theme of tonight's event is family. The past 2 years have been challenging for us all, so tonight I find it fitting that we celebrate a reuniting of our owl and ophthalmology family in a city that has faced its fair share of challenges and always perseveres and continues to flourish. Let's give a round out to the city of New Orleans. Before we move on to our business, I would like our board members and committee members in attendance to stand. Their thoughtful contributions to the OWL organization have been unparalleled, and I cannot begin to thank them enough for all that they have given in time and brain power over the last year. I would like to make a special mention to Beth Marsh, who concludes her time on the OWL board after several years of service. Thank you, Beth. Everyone stand. Board members, committee members, please stand up. Now, a little OWL business that we have to get through tonight. On your seat is a copy of OWL's 2021 annual report. I would like to ask for a motion to approve the annual report and our officers for 2022 as stated. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion approved. I would like to take a brief moment to thank OWL's partners and sponsors. Their contributions enable the OWL organizations to grow and maintain course through our mission of advancing diversity and leadership. Our partner sponsors, Alcon, Aerie Pharmaceuticals, Allergan, and AbbVie Company, Carl Zeiss Meditech, Horizon Therapeutics, Johnson & Johnson Vision, Novartis, and Star Surgical. Thank you to our award sponsors for this evening, BVI Medical, Cornea Gen, and Zimmer. To our annual sponsors, Kala, Lexitas, Glaukos, Nextech, Sun Ophthalmics, and RVR Pharmaceuticals, Modernizing Medicine. Uniting sponsors are Cornea Gen, Modernizing Medicine, and RVL Pharmaceuticals. We appreciate your commitment to OWL and our vision of advancing diversity in leadership. I would also like to give a special shout out to Cheryl Stevenson and her team for the fall edition of Empower magazine, which you'll see on your seat. Please do take that copy with you when you leave tonight. I'd also like to recognize our OWL volunteers who help us at our live events, and to Avenue Live for their amazing technical support in making our events run so smoothly. Our awards nominating committee, led by Joanna Williams of Lexitas, for giving us such a wonderful slate of finalists to vote on and making it so difficult for us to choose. And finally, thank you to our mentors who have agreed to give of their time and expertise to our next class of fellows. Now, let's get started. Our signature event this evening would not be possible without tonight's premier sponsor, Alcon, which has been a supporter of OWL for many years, not only financially, but with volunteer participation and time. I would like to introduce Jeannette Bankus, President and General Manager of the Global Surgical Franchise of Alcon, to say a few words. Jeannette.
I'll say I'm a little confused. I have a yellow band on, yet I'm still hugging people. I tried that at ASCRS. I was a green band, and I noticed pretty rapidly as I hug a red person that they stood still, and I didn't really look at their band, so for the red folks at ASRS, I apologize. I'm a hugging person. So it is my pleasure tonight to represent Alcon, a premier sponsor of this event. But what's most inspiring as I look across at the group is the familiar faces that we see in each other tonight and every day, and the resilience that we've had. Over the last 18 months, we stood collectively. It didn't matter the practice you were in, the badge that you wore, we were resilient. You heard time and time again this past week that we are a family. We don't take that lightly. It doesn't matter if you're a competing practice, you're a competing company. Resilience is what was needed over the last year and a half. So thank you for being brilliant. It is our tagline, but I would say it was everybody's tagline this past year, to be brilliant. The theme of tonight's meeting is really around diversity, but think about how diverse we had to think as individuals on something that was thrown to us that nobody could have ever imagined would happen to the world. So give yourselves a round of applause for the passion in the heart to care about the person to the left and to the right, regardless of our tags, regardless of our specialties, because we cared about each other. So thank you. Truth be told, for the surgeons in the group, I am a high myope, so depending on the lighting, I can't see monitors. I happen to be -10, -8, I'm now 51, I'm presbyopia, 2 + 5, and even though I love my DT1s, I can't see, so I will be getting a Vivity. So I do have solutions for that. Yeah, you can help me. Talk to my spouse. Some days he may not say that. From an AL perspective, I think everybody in industry would say, and even the clinician partners, regardless of how involved you get with this organization, all of us understand the mission and vision. It's so easy to grab on to what they represent and what their mission and vision is. So we share a common goal. We're promoting and developing a diverse mindset. I talked about diversity, and it's not in one element, it's in multiple elements. The diversity we had to go through in the last 24 months demonstrated that. It demonstrated supporting a diverse mindset. We know that can result in better outcomes. We saw it right in front of us in the last year. And by doing that, we could continue to support the patients that deserve it from us. As we think about that, dig a little bit deeper within your practice, within your organization. If you actually could unleash the potential of the employees that serve you on a daily basis, which I have a ton of very talented folks, think about the potential collectively, not individually. And so as you draw out that potential of the individual person to a more collective manner, can you imagine what we can unsolve or solve for in ophthalmology? This alignment with AL is natural to all of us, and so we're proud to be the premier sponsor. Some of our peers in industry get that luxury and pleasure. Tonight, Alcon's got that pleasure. So for Al, thank you for allowing us to be the premier sponsor. It is our opportunity, our pleasure to serve the Al board and the membership, so thank you. Throughout the 75-year history, of Alcon and a leader in the ophthalmic space, we've been able to bring technology time and time again. Our history paints the picture. And we've been able to have people see brilliantly. But what's the next chapter that we're going to actually write in our history at Alcon? And that's one, to continue to evolve our diverse mindset. Because at the end, if that is the formula for success, that is our formula for success collectively. And so you think about our current surgical portfolio. We're brilliant, but are we brilliant enough? We still have unmet clinical needs in the space. So I would tagline, we're not arrived yet. Our innovation and achievements have not happened in an individual manner. I won't go political, I won't go on different opinions, but individualism is not the successful route for any of us. And so, for my Alcon associates, thank you for your brilliance in this last year, for serving the patients that deserve us. I have the proud A Alcon badge on, so thank you to my Alcon colleagues. Tonight's keynote speaker, I had the pleasure of actually introducing myself to him, such a pleasure. He's gonna have a talk on fighting from terrorism for fighting for diversity. Wow, I couldn't put that in a sentence. Are we really there? This gentleman has probably overcome more challenges in your career than any of us could have thought about. So thank you for being here tonight with us. I'm excited. I happen to be an analytical background, so anything forensics FBI, I get thrilled about, and even more what you're fighting. Thank you for serving our country, and thank you for everything you do for us. As a reminder, it is veterans. For the veterans in the group, I happen to have a father that served in the Vietnam War, as well as 2 of my nephews are Marines. So anybody in the group, thank you for what you do for this country and for our freedom. So thank you, guys. My last commentary, as an independent company, we have a responsibility, and I'll call it an opportunity, to truly evolve who we are. Many of us in our career, our profession, get told what you did yesterday or today doesn't make you successful tomorrow. And so I'll challenge us to think that way as well. And so as you think about the values of new programs that support our associates, we are clearly focused on diversity and inclusion. From a global perspective, as we start to design technologies, are we really thinking about our Asia-Pacific partners, our Latin America, and our European? And are we thinking about the diversity of talent and surgeons that are touching our products every day? For my industry partners, I challenge you to make sure that your ad boards have that diverse perspective, because every patient, no matter where you live in the world, should deserve the best technology from us. From an Alcon perspective, we've increased our resources. We hired a D&I officer. We are clearly focused from a perspective of inclusion and diversity to evolve a company that's set a legacy and will continue to set a legacy. As we think about our employees, we recently reported our annual reports. As an independent, we were Novartis previously. We now have to report our own. We're happy to tell you we recently reported we've already achieved 49% global female representation and are 47% U.S. ethnically diverse across the entire labor force. While we have not arrived yet, and we're seeing progress, there's still more progress to be made, and I will be a little provocative, especially at our leadership level at Alcon. As someone who's passionate about driving equal opportunity and representation, I take, and I always have in my career, being in the different positions I've had the pleasure of serving in, I'm the first female leader to be running a $5 billion company, or close to $5 billion at Alcon, and I don't take that lightly. I do bring a diverse perspective, a diverse gender. I've lived outside the United States, inside the United States, and for that, I will not be the first or last. So thank you to Alcon for allowing me this opportunity. Lastly, as we think about mentorship, every one of us, if you know me well, there's 2 hashtags on my LinkedIn. Number 1, pay forward, hashtag pay forward. It doesn't matter your gender, ethnicity, representation, global, etc. You need to pay forward. I can't look at a face in this room that isn't blessed for what we do or what we have. We may have turmoil at times in our life, like a pandemic. We may have lost people in that personally and professionally. However, we are blessed, and don't lose sight of that, no pun intended. Please pay forward. That's mentoring, training, looking to the left and right and saying, even if you've done the insights and you've got a green in the room, did you really ask them perspective? Because that diverse thinking will forward our industry and collectively the space we play in. Lastly, at Alcon, we continue to invest in our talent and champion our diversity initiatives forward. This will bring innovation beyond what any of us could imagine. So I ask of you tonight, be open to diversity, be open to global diversity, and be open to a pay-forward mentality. The last thing, and those, they'll say I'm provocative, on my hashtags is GSD, get shit done, okay? I don't talk about it. My last, and this is off cue of anything I thought I'd say, I sat on a reimbursement panel. We can bitch all day long about where they may cut. It's our time to bring value and extract that value in industry. For that, we owe that to our clinicians. For the industry, step up, step in with me, and thank you for allowing Alcon to be the premier sponsor. Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeannette, and thank you so much, Alcon. We cannot tell you what your support means to the AL organization, and we look forward to an amazing 2022. Now, I would like to invite Maza Martin of Tarsus Pharmaceuticals up to the stage to introduce our amazing keynote speaker for the evening. Maza has been the co-chair of our programs committee for 2021, and as we continue to talk about family, it is only fitting that she introduces our guest speaker. Come on up, Maza.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you all for being here tonight. First, I'd like to thank my programming team co-chairs, Magda Michna and Ravon Williams, for helping make OWL programming this year engaging and relevant for our members and having a lot of fun along the way. Tonight's speaker is near and dear to my heart. He's my mom's youngest brother, and while I knew growing up that he was my cool secret agent uncle, I didn't know about his work to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion within the FBI until recently. Mark has over 35 years of leadership experience in law enforcement and security practices in both government and corporate operations. He served in the FBI for 26 years, where he led investigative programs targeting international and domestic terrorism, economic espionage, cyber crimes, and white-collar crime. Just a normal day at the office. In 2001, he served as special agent in charge of the FBI's Cleveland division, leading that office through the 9/11 crisis response. He then adeptly re-engineered the FBI's hiring and promotion process to attain the diversity and critical skills needed to meet the post-9/11 mandate. From 2005 until his retirement in 2009, he served as the legal attaché London, leading the FBI's most critical international office. Mark received a Presidential Emeritus Executive Award given to the top 5% of federal executives for his service. Since 2009, Mark has served in executive security roles in the private sector, and he continues to work with the FBI leadership to enhance diversity, equity, and inclusion in the Bureau. Please welcome my uncle, Mark Stephen Bullock.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and just so proud of my niece, Maaza, just. I know I shouldn't do this, but I don't say Maaza, I say sweetie. So proud of you, sweetie. So you've done great. I wanted to say you've heard, you've seen a lot of familiar faces this evening. Well, as a retired FBI agent, I haven't seen a lot of familiar faces, and that's a really good thing. But I've had a pretty interesting and some would say exciting life. I have arrested violent criminals. I've outsmarted con artists to bring them to justice. I've testified before Congress. Some of the other things that I did. I interviewed what I call the consummate con artist, and I'll talk a little bit about him a little bit later. And I've met some interesting people in my life, some pretty prominent global leaders. Very proud of that. So I'm at home, I'm thinking, I've kind of done it all. Life is good. And then I get the call from Maaza. She said, Uncle Mark, would you be available to speak before OWL? It's, who knew? So check that on the box there. But honestly, I'm not joking. The mission of OWL to enhance diversity, equity, and inclusion, that's something I think is very honorable and is very important to me. So seriously, I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all this evening. So thank you very much. I'd like to start off, if I can. We'll get to that one. That's the Oklahoma City bombing. I worked that. But I want to start off basically with some life events that I have stuck with me throughout life and factored into decisions I ultimately had to make relating to diversity, equity, inclusion. When I was in third grade, I'm from the projects of Chicago, the Alba homes, at least my first 10 years. And I'm at school, Medill Primary School, and we're out, the third graders, we're out at recess. And we hear some commotion, and I turn around, and I see a police officer chasing a guy and shooting at him as he's approaching the playground. And as a third grader, I said, you know, that's not right. That's not good. And I still have this vivid memory of that event. You know, I'm 62 years old, so that was a long time ago when that happened. But this vivid memory of that. And, you know, as I think about it, I just said, you know, that was wrong, that was dangerous, that was stupid. So that was my first encounter, literally, with law enforcement. Fast forward to my high school years. I had gone to church one Sunday, me and 3 buddies. We're headed back home. We're, you know, driving down the street. It's only a mile, mile and a half from the church. And we get pulled over by the police. Pulled out of the car at gunpoint, not doing anything wrong. You know, and they said, oh, you know, get out of the car. They patted us down. They searched the car. Of course, they found nothing because we weren't doing anything wrong. Never answered the question why, you know, was pulled over. So that was basically my first experience with driving while black, you know, on the south side of Chicago, that happens. But again, I look back at that and said, you know, that was a terrible thing to do, that was dangerous, and that was stupid. So my first 2 real encounters with law enforcement were negative. But although I have the vivid memory, I didn't let that negatively influence me. I think law enforcement is great. I ended up pursuing a law enforcement career. I wasn't too happy with those police officers, those individuals, but generally speaking, I think law enforcement are great individuals, most of them. And so I didn't want to let that negatively influence me, and I didn't. So fast forward a bit more, I go off to college, went to the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana. Yeah, oh, a few of us, all right. Happy to hear that. 55,000 students, majored in accounting. It was a great accounting program, very challenging. It was difficult classes. You know, probably the worst part was having to get to class. It was so cold in those windy days. That's my most vivid memory. But University of Illinois, that taught me that, you know, you should confront your challenges, you know, and you know, persevere, and you can achieve. Confront, persevere, and you can achieve. So I kind of have taken that with me throughout the rest of life. Upon graduating the University of Illinois, I became an auditor with Coopers & Lybrand CPAs, now PricewaterhouseCoopers, dating myself on that one. And, you know, went to the firm, and there are about 60 of us that started the firm, had great training. We all got similar assignments, and but it was an up or out policy. If you didn't perform, you had to go. You went out to clients or found a job somewhere else. So through that experience, I said, you know, once again, you can confront your challenges, you can persevere, and you can achieve. So I take that with me to the FBI in 1983. Wow, really looking back. I got my dream job. I was appointed special agent with the FBI. It was so interesting. I have seen the worst and the best of society. I'll tell you a few things that I work with. I laughed this first one. It was a bank robbery. I was assigned in Miami Division. The guy robs the bank. We do the usual go in, interview the folks, get a description, and try to track them down. Well, as we're doing the track down, we look down and find a driver's license. And yeah, that was exactly my reaction. I said, it can't be this easy. And and sure enough, we get over to the house, and when you, I don't know if I should be saying, well, I think it's safe to say it with this group, when you rob a bank, frequently they put a dye pack in the bag. It looks like money, but when you get to the perimeter of the bank, it explodes. And so we get to the house, and the guy, he's got a burn on him because he put the dye pack in his pocket, and it emits this pink smoke. So he's sitting there with pink smoke. And so that was a pretty easy arrest. A bit more challenging, it was what I call the consummate con artist. This guy, I won't mention his name, I could, he was convicted and got 10 years in jail actually, but he had embezzled from his company. He lost that money, so he got family and friends to invest with him, and he lost their money as well. Well, he didn't lose it, he had a terrible gambling habit and a serious cocaine habit, so that's where the money went. But he did it to the tune of $8 million. So I'm entering, it's the longest interview I had in my career. It was like 3 days, 6 to 7 hours a day, and he was just fascinating. I mean, it was like we were best buddies. And I'm like, well, at the end of this, you do realize I'm looking to send you to jail. But he's very charismatic, and we would go through, did you do, did this happen? Yes. Did this happen? Yes. Then I said, well, why did this happen? Who made this happen? And he would never answer. He was totally incapable of saying that he had done something wrong. So that was my consummate con artist investigation. I did work the Oklahoma City bombing. I was the administrative supervisor there, bringing agents in from all across the country. It was down there 100 days when my son was a little baby. That was a major challenge, having to be away, but that sometimes happens in the FBI. When there's a crisis, you have to respond. But my next one, I want to talk in a bit more detail about a couple things that happened post 9/11. One, not terrorism related, but I think pretty interesting. I had to deal with the first transgender case in the FBI, where we had a male agent become a female agent. To be perfectly honest, it was not handled well out of the gate. The office hadn't tried to accommodate the individual, and this agent was a SWAT team leader in a small office. So you might imagine the impact in the local community. So the SWAT team, they didn't receive any change guidance or anything along those. So they're in high stress. The men and women in the office were under stress, even in things like, which restroom do you go into? The men didn't want to be in there, the women didn't want to be in there with the transgender agent. And of course, the transgender agent is under stress because it was just a terrible, terrible situation. And I said I wasn't going to go into this detail, but I will. Me and another assistant director, I'm at the assistant director in the FBI at this point, we go to the deputy director's office and said, this office is really in a high stress level. You need to go out and deal with this office. And the deputy director happened to be a mentor of mine. So we go and explain it, and he says, yeah, I get it. I go back down to my office, it's one floor down, and in the FBI, the executives, we have the green line. If it doesn't make a difference what you're doing, it's like the bat phone. If it rings, you have to answer. So the director calls or the deputy director calls. So I get back to the office, and there are 30 seconds, and the green line lights up. So I hit the green line, and Bruce says, Mark, I agree with everything that you all briefed about this office and needed to be handled, and you're going to handle it. So that's the way things happen sometimes, particularly at the FBI. So I go out to the office. Well, first I got a little intelligence of what the agent wanted. So I was pretty clear on that. So I go out to the office, I talk with the leadership, kind of admonish them a bit because they hadn't handled this thing well. And then I talk with the transgender agent, she makes it clear what she wants. It was very important to refer to her as she at that point. So it's got that straight. And then I addressed the office and said, basically, you had a male special agent with all the rights, roles, and responsibilities of any special agent, and now you have a female special agent with all of the right roles and responsibilities, and you have to treat her that way. So that worked to a degree, but the office was really under stress. So what I had found out is the transgender agent wanted to be transferred. So I said, okay, what I'll do, I'll offer you a cost transfer. The FBI will pay for your transfer. You have to let me know in 30 days, one of these three offices, of course, the office that she wanted to go to was right at the top of the list. So we got the transfer for that agent, and actually she called a year or two later and said how much she appreciated it and how things were going well. So it's pretty proud to be able to handle that situation that you certainly don't learn about in school, particularly majoring in accounting. So, but it's but with the I want to next talk about 9/11 and some weeks after that. But 9/11 was a really incredible day for me. I was the special agent in charge of Cleveland Division. So came into the office. The first plane had already gone into the World Trade Center. It actually saw on TV the second plane going into the World Trade Center. And I get a call from the FAA. The FAA calls and says, hey, we believe we have a hijacked plane in Oberlin airspace. It's the airspace above Cleveland. So I said, that's good. We've got agents that are assigned out to the airport. I dispatched them to start checking that out. I said, but planes have gone into buildings, so downtown Cleveland is in danger. So I called the mayor. Mike White was the mayor at that point, and recommended that he evacuate downtown. He made that order. It was the biggest parking lot you ever want to see. Back then, 2001, most cities, particularly Cleveland, didn't have an evacuation plan, so did the right thing, but literally, cars were bumper to bumper, and thank God nothing happened. But that dealing with that situation, and the hijacking, it turned out that it was Delta Airlines, and they were grounding all of their planes, so we didn't have to deal with actual hijacking either. But what we did have to do with the next weeks, probably about the next month after 9/11, there were a significant number of attacks against Arab citizens in the community. And of course, I go on TV and radio programs and say, this won't be tolerated. We are going to, as the FBI, we are going to investigate, and anyone involved with 9/11, we will track them down and bring them to justice. But it's totally unacceptable to attack individuals that are not involved in this event. So I had a hate crimes working group. And so I brought them in. They're different community leaders, civic leaders. I said, what we need to do is get out there, talk with our communities, talk with our people, go to the churches, go on the radio, wherever you can do a speech, and let them know we need to unify as a community and let folks know that attacking innocent individuals simply is not acceptable. It won't be tolerated. So we were able to do that. Things calmed down, and that, amongst other things, got me promoted, which that sounds like a good thing. But in the FBI, the dream job is to be a special agent, a street agent, and then special agent in charge. And I had this discussion with Bob Mueller, who was director when brought me back as assistant director, and he didn't quite understand it. And he's like, well, Mark, you and others, you're in the top 20 in the FBI. You're running the FBI. Why are you reluctant to come back to headquarters? And I said, it's pretty simple, Bob. Out there, a special agent in charge, I'm the boss. Back here, you're the boss. It's that simple. And he did, although you would never imagine it if you see him on TV and so forth. He did have a bit of a sense of humor. So fortunately, he accepted that one. But I come back as assistant director over human resources. 9/11 Commission is going. We're engaging with them and Congress on a day-to-day basis. We have to transform the FBI. We were a criminal investigative agency. We have to become an intelligence-led national security / criminal investigative agency. And we have to do it quickly. So we get together and we come up with the critical skills that are needed for agents to be success. It used to be police officers and former military and accountants and lawyers. Well, now we need engineers. We need people with chemistry backgrounds. We're investigating bombings and things like that. So we had to get those critical skills. And said we have to have diversity. Back then, just diversity. These days, diversity, equity, inclusion. But that's going to be a critical requirement as well. And recruiting for the FBI is really easy. We get typically about 100,000 applicants a year, and in a high hiring year, we would hire 4,000 agents. So it's very, very selective. Recruiting is easy until you look at minority recruiting. Minorities, some like me, had negative experiences with law enforcement growing up. They won't necessarily trust law enforcement. So I said, but we're going to do this. So again, had a great team around me, and I said, I'm going to get out on radio programs. I went to every community outreach group I could. I did career fairs, colleges. I mean, we just were out doing the recruiting, and it worked. For the first time into I believe, still the only time that the FBI has met its minority hiring objectives, and the FBI was established in 1908, was in 2003 when I was assistant director. So I'm very, very proud of that. So I received an award, a Presidential Rank Award for that and other things that had been done. But I say that not to brag, because shortly after I was, I guess it was sort of a thank you to get out of headquarters and go head our UK office, our London office. But what I saw was the recruiting, the hiring of minorities went right back to the way it had been done in the past. And I realized, it was very disappointing, it still is to this day, but I realized, I changed the practice, went out and did these things, and that was good. But if it's to be sustainable, you have to change the policy. You have to make sure that it's in writing, this is how we're going to do things. So that was a disappointment, but I'm not one who gives up easily. So myself and several other retired agents, to this day, we work with the FBI trying to help them enhance their diversity, equity, and inclusion. And a few recommendations that we've made to the FBI I thought would be pertinent and appropriate to make to you all. One, we said, I'll say DE&I instead of spelling it out every time. DE&I, it's not a luxury. It's a necessity. You have to have this if your organization is going to be the best that it can be. And there's been several studies that indicate exactly that. When you have greater diversity, you get better insight, you get better perspectives, and ultimately, you make better decisions. And that's what we all want to do. Also, there should be the bias training. There are things that all of us have grown up with. And not that it was anything bad, it's just the way that things we experienced as we were growing up, and we have biases. So we need to point that out and train to make sure that you don't let those biases factor into your hiring and promotion decisions. DE&I has to be a priority. I'm insistent. It has to be leader-led. It should be the top person or persons in your organization saying that this is going to happen, this is going to work, and drive that. So leader-led, but top-down driven, bottom-up driven. Everyone has to be involved with the processes if you're going to bring about this change. So there are several other things that I certainly could say and recommend, but I'll leave it at that and close with, diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's the right thing to do. It's an important thing to do, and you need you to be committed to do it. So as I found from early events in life, you you can have a challenge. You need to confront that challenge, persevere, and you can achieve. And with that, I will close and say thank you all. And I think, oh, please. Thank you. Questions? Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. I think, oh, please, thank you. I think I have a few minutes to take questions, if there are any questions. I'll answer any questions that I can, as long as it's not classified. And I can't see out there, so if someone can point out if there are any questions, I would appreciate it. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, it's you have a group that's fully supportive, and those are the ones. But when you have training sessions, they're at the training sessions. It's getting those that don't want to come to the training sessions and don't want to take the bias training. So things have to be made mandatory. And again, that gets back to being leader-led. You know, if the director says, if the CEO says, this is going to happen, this training is mandatory, it literally takes that level of support, promotion, and sometimes demanding that this is going to happen. So that's what we've been doing with the FBI. And the FBI, trust me, still has a long way to go. All right, well, thank you all once again. I really appreciate the opportunity to address you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. I usually don't get gifts. Thank you so much.
You got- Now, moving on to AL's 2021 Leadership Awards, I want to congratulate all those nominated and recognized in their field by AL members. This is truly special recognition by your peers. Our first award is the Rising Star Award, sponsored by BVI Medical, and the award will be presented by Aaron Shalhorn Powers.
I don't know how to come up on stage after that presentation. I think that was just amazing, and oh my goodness, you're related to this person. So wow. Goodness gracious, very quickly here, we had 3 amazing candidates for this award, and I'd like the 2 who are here to stand. Kate and Nishant, are you here? Because I do think that just being, honored with the recognition is amazing. But the honoree for this actually cannot be here, and she can't be here for maybe the best reason ever, which is that she is bringing another person who's going to work into ophthalmology into our industry. She is expecting a baby very soon, cannot travel here, Alana Natisse. So she will be accepting this award via video.
I've known Dr. Nattis for about 2 weeks now, and from what I've witnessed, she is one of the most devoted, hardworking, brilliant, and patient-centric doctors I've ever met. In extracurricular activities, she's designed and built ground-up a research department within a group of 100 physician practice known as SiteMD. She hosts multiple FDA clinical trials from phases 2, 3, and 4, along with several IITs. She and Eric Donnenfeld designed protocols to treat postcorneal cross-linked patients with topo-guided PRK, And most importantly, she still hasn't divorced me after all my shenanigans. I can say I'm extremely privileged to be sitting in the passenger seat watching everything amazing that Alana has and will continue to accomplish, making me strive every day to venture the path she has built with a kind hand, helping the journey of every person who wishes to see the next level. Congratulations again, Alana.
AAO's Rising Star Award goes to emerging leaders in ophthalmology. And from one rising star to another, I am honored and so pleased to see Alana Nadas receiving this award tonight. I met her in her training through Millennial Eye, and I was instantly impressed with her. She has always been so authentic and so responsive in all the areas that we collaborate with her, and she continues to elevate the field. Alana embodies leadership, humility, and surgical expertise while also being very inclusive. She is an awesome person, and I'm so excited for her to be receiving this award tonight.
Alana, it is my honor and privilege to congratulate you on being recognized by AAO as the Rising Star for 2021. However, I have known you are a star for over a decade. I am so proud of your accomplishments. You're an amazing surgeon, researcher, and educator. In addition, you bring passion, integrity, and commitment to ophthalmology. You're a wonderful daughter to my good friend Jeannette, wife to another superstar Eric Rosenberg, and a very special friend to me. Continue to every day make a difference for your patients and our profession.
Alana, congratulations. We wish you were here with us, but we wish you a wonderful road ahead with very exciting things. Thank you.
When I found out I was nominated for the AAO Rising Stars Award, my first reaction was extreme excitement, awe, and humility. To be nominated among some of the prestigious members in our field, the AAO members, and to follow in line with previous honorees is truly awe-inspiring. I know that I would not have been able to achieve this even nomination, let alone win this award, without unending support from all ends. I'm so grateful for my mentors, my office support staff who have continued to grow and learn with me, my supportive friends, and my ever-encouraging family and husband who continue to push me forward in my both personal and professional endeavors. I would truly be lost without them. I would also like to thank our sponsor, BBI, for their generosity and support in this nomination and award. And I hope I can continue to make everyone proud with my career moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin and BBI, and many congratulations to Dr. Alana Nadas. Our next award is the Catalyst Award, sponsored by CorneaGen and presented by Jared Young. Thank you, Jared and CorneaGen.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jared Young with CorneaGen, and we're proud to sponsor the 2021 AAO Catalyst Award. The Catalyst Award honors individuals who have made significant contributions to helping others advance their career in eye care. All of tonight's nominees have demonstrated leadership in advancing diversity. Tonight, on behalf of CorneaGen, I'm pleased to present the 2021 AAO Catalyst Award to Dr. Arthur Chan.
Congratulations, Arthur. I've had the pleasure of knowing you, not just as my manager, but as my mentor over the last few years. You have encouraged me and others to do our best and provided us the tools and opportunities to do so. The AAO Catalyst Award honors an individual who has contributed significantly to helping others advance their career in eye care, and you have done just that. Your encouragement, passion, and commitment to your mentees has allowed for not just a diverse but safe space to grow and learn. Thank you for all you do and for the forced fun that has strengthened our relationships with each other, but also with our scientific partners. Congratulations.
On behalf of the Tarsus Pharmaceuticals team, I'd like to wish our colleague Arthur Chan a hearty congratulations for being named the 2021 OWL Catalyst Award winner. When we think about Arthur, it's truly someone that embodies the spirit of this award. Someone that puts mentorship first, always advocates for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and does this in everything they do, and always leads from the front. Arthur, we're incredibly proud of you for this award, and we're incredibly grateful to have you on our team, being a leader at Tarsus and in the industry. On behalf of Tarsus, we also want to congratulate all those that were recognized from OWL this year, and all those that were nominated. Each and every one of you makes a tremendous contribution to the eye care community and makes it as special as we all know it is. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Arthur, on this amazing and well-deserved award. I cannot think of a more thoughtful and inclusive and supportive person to receive this award. I know that I personally have benefited from just you being you. I remember meeting you in 2015 at a small meeting where I barely knew anyone, and I was just making the transition from an academic practice to private practice. And you just asked the most genuinely thoughtful and interested questions in the hopes of supporting me. And over the years, I've seen you do it for so many others. And that's why when I hang out with friends and colleagues of Arthur, I know that I'm going to be with amazing, wonderful people, because you bring that out in people and you support those people. And I am so glad that you are getting acknowledged today for that. Congratulations to you, and cheers.
Wow, thank you so much. Thanks, Jared. Thanks, Courtney and Jen. Aziz, you finally cured my dry eyes. Thank you, Priyanka and Jackie. Wow, I'm going to put this down for a sec. But wow, how incredible is it to all be here in New Orleans? This ophthalmic community is truly unique and special. And it's such a humbling experience to be among all the nominees and the finalists for these awards. I mean, Abby, the president of OWL, and Jay Perek, the first person that took me under his wing when I joined this industry. I can't thank you enough. And just, it's a really humbling experience. And so, OWL's been a big part of my career. When I first joined OWL, I was immediately captivated by this organization for what it stood for and the people behind it. And I remember fondly an OWL meeting where somebody that I truly admire and now get the privilege of working very closely with shared her authentic and vulnerable journey with us, Liz Yu, and Bill Trattler, who has been a mentor and a catalyst for me in my career, won this very award. And that was also the year that I introduced my team at Alcon to this wonderful organization and inspired them to join. And I found out a couple weeks ago it was one of my first team members, Jackie, who nominated me for this award, and I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. And look at her now. She's a leader within this organization. So proud of you. These awards, they are truly team awards. I wouldn't be here on stage if it wasn't for the love and support of my family, my team members and mentors from Bausch, from Alcon to Novartis, and now my beloved team at Tarsus. I never thought, who would have thought it'd be possible to be so passionate about Demodex as I was about toric IOLs, femtosecond lasers, MIGS, and dry eye. But when you're with a group of people who put their whole heart into building an inclusive and a team that really truly creates a sense of belonging every day, it's easy to be crawling with excitement. I'm looking at you, Aziz, Maza, Mika, and Nira. They like my might jokes most of the time. Should we maybe scratch that one off the list? I don't know. I look around the room here, and I see so many people who have inspired me, who have challenged me to think differently, who truly have sparked my curiosity and most importantly believed in me. And I can't thank you enough for that. And finally, this award and these awards are not the end game, but rather just a beginning and a motivator for us to truly use this platform to promote the importance of mentoring, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So, let's hold each other accountable. And as Jeannette said earlier, let's pay it forward. And if we're playing that game where we take a sip of our drink every time we say it's wonderful to be back at the Academy in person, cheers. Thank you so much to Al. I'm very grateful to be here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jared and Cornelia Jen, and congratulations, Arthur. Our next award is the Visionary Leader Award, sponsored by Zemer and presented by Aaron Bragg.
Hello and good evening. My name is Aaron Bragg, and Zemer is pleased to sponsor OWL's 2021 Visionary Leader Award. The Visionary Leader Award honors an individual who has paved the way for diversity in their field through significant achievement. Nominees have demonstrated leadership in their field throughout their careers. I am very pleased to present the 2021 OWL Visionary Leader Award to Abby Marquard.
Congratulations, Abby, on receiving the Visionary Leadership Award. You are so deserving of this for so many reasons. I'm honored to be among those to celebrate you and your visionary leadership. We've known each other for many years, and it's been my pleasure to watch you continuously develop your talents and your leadership skills. You're truly an example of the kind of person that OWL supports in its mission. Your creativity, your courage to try new things, and your compassion are just a few of your positive traits. What you have accomplished in 1 year as OWL's president is amazing. I applaud your efforts and so proud of what you have done. Given that we shared a somewhat challenging but life-changing trip to India together a few years ago, I know what kind of a person you are. You're not only a visionary leader, but you're a woman who is beautiful inside and out. And you enjoy having lots of fun, and you're a supportive and steadfast friend. Can't wait to be on another long plane ride with you one of these days. It is with anticipation that I wait to see how you'll use your visionary leadership skills in the future. Congratulations, Abby. I am so happy for you.
Hi, everyone. Georgette Pascal from Precision Effect here. And boy, do I wish I could be there in person to say this live. But congratulations, Abby Marquard, for being the 2021 Visionary Leader Award recipient on behalf of OWL. And I cannot think of anyone who deserves it more. You and I have known each other for 20 years, even though I know we look so young, everyone. Hello. But just the way that you lead groups to diversity and include diversity in everything that you do, whether it's career-wise, life, especially with OWL as president, you always bring, different spokespeople together, different ideas, diversity in everything you do, and you've always been like that. And when you do something, you do it 150%, and you're an amazing leader, an amazing friend, and someone who always wants to push the limits to do better and do more, and I respect that so much, as do so many others. So congratulations, sweetheart. We're all so proud of you, and as a president, as a board member, as just an OWL member in general, part of the ophthalmic community, you're just stellar in every way. So Thanks for everything you've done and continue to do, and congrats again. Wish I could be there. Cheers, guys.
I'm sending this video to congratulate a person who's not just a brilliant, respected, and loved friend. She's also a visionary leader. I also congratulate Al, who's selecting you, Abby, to receive Al's Visionary Leader Award. They certainly made an outstanding selection. I'm sure everyone who hears of your selection for this award will first smile. Then they'll immediately think of you and something you've done with them to brighten their life. And then they'll feel the same way I do. Very, very proud to call such an accomplished person a friend. Congratulations, Abby. You have been and you're going to continue to be a difference maker, and this award is simply proof that many others recognize that.
So those of you that know me very well, I'm a crier. But thank you, Aaron and Zemer, very much for the support. I am beyond honored and humbled to receive this award, especially on this night with my family present, my brother, my nephew, and sister-in-law, and of course, Cody. I love you all to the moon and back. To be in a category with Jim Mazo and Jay Perek is simply beyond surreal for me. I admire both of these men beyond measure and feel honored to be nominated with them. I want to thank a few people, Clay Weilman first, who brought me into this industry 20 years ago, and those who have supported me unconditionally through career transitions, trying different things, going out on my own into my own business. Chuck Hess, Amy Jacobs, Jackie Lindstrom, Patty Barkey, Laura Rousseau, Marcia Link, and Heather Reddy. Thank you very much for all that you do for me every day. I love you all. And I also want to thank a handful of surgeons who have been so important in my career, but a guiding light. And as you know, without these brilliant minds and these brilliant hands that they have, all the innovation, all of the technologies would go nowhere. They're amazing people. Eric Donenfeld, Dee Stevenson, Cynthia Matosian, Kendall Donaldson, and Renee Baval. Thank you all so much for your leadership in this amazing ophthalmic community. And finally, I want to give a special shout out to my OWL partner in crime, Gaynor Freese. Words will never express the joy I have working with you and the support you have given me. It is immeasurable. Thank you. And now, as I officially end my presidency for OWL, I would just like to say thank you for all entrusting me with this role. It has been challenging, life-changing, and fulfilling. OWL has given me so much more than I will ever be able to give back, but I feel that my goals of number one, growing our organization in membership and sponsorship, number two, streamlining our internal processes, and three, developing more robust and accessible educational initiatives were met and surpassed in 2021. We are on a fantastic trajectory and know that 2022 will continue to build through our mission of advancing diversity and leadership. On that note, I would like to introduce my friend. How we didn't know each other 10 years ago, I don't know, and your new president, Aaron Shalhoun-Powers.
Okay, I'm gonna have to corner Abby after this show. We've got something for you, Abby. I'm gonna put this down here. Yeah, your hands are full. Your hands are full. Oh my gosh. For those of you who know me, you probably know why I'm wearing the green here, which is because I just want to hug all of you. I'm a proactive hugger. So, Jeannette, I'm sorry. I know that you have the yellow, but it's gonna happen. So, I just really want to take a second and recognize Abby. I cannot imagine a better role model coming into this. Thank you for all that you have done. This woman led our organization through COVID. And not only did she lead it and sustain it, she grew it. She grew the importance of it. She furthered our mission and our vision. I can't imagine how we didn't know each other. I don't know this. I don't know how this happened. So this is the value of Al. I have often thought, what would I do if I was given a podium to express thanks? I'm not kidding. I am this person that actually thinks about that. And guys, I think that there's just too many people in this room that I would want to thank and just say thank you. But I'm going to select just a few. And I have to start with the people that brought me here and raised me as a teenager. My parents are here, Steve and Eileen Schallhorn. You guys are going to stand. You're going to stand because I love you. And you know, if I think about why I'm in this industry, it's being led by example. And it's being led by example of passion and love and just loving what you're doing and supporting those individuals. And my parents are the example of that. As you know, my sister also, she is my confidant, my colleague, and my best friend. Thank you, Julie, for being here. If you don't know her, I will introduce her to you because that's apparently what I do. I'm just going to bring her around everywhere, but she's going to be introducing me to all of you too. You know, if I look at my career, I also have to thank the woman that introduced me to OWL. And you know, she sat me down. It was my very first job. I was 21 years old when I joined this industry with VizX. And she sat me down and she said, Erin, it is very important for women to support women. That woman is Heather Reddy. Thank you, Heather. From the bottom of my heart, you continue to be an inspiration to all of us. I can't tell you how much I respect this lady. And I really do want to just say thank you to two other people who are here today who are, I consider my ophthalmic parents. So I have two sets of parents here. Eric and Marlene, thank you so much for being here. Their daughter got me into business school. They have shepherded me through very important parts of my life, and I just thank you so much. So thank you to everybody who's here, and I think that you know, most importantly, this is an honor. This is an honor to lead this organization that I feel so strongly about, and has made such an impact in my life, in my career, and the lives of so many others. And I just want to say thank you for the trust to continue to lead us, to shepherd our vision, to realize our mission. And I just can't wait for what's ahead and getting to know all of you in this room. So with that, I'll conclude the program, but thank you all so much and have a wonderful rest of your show.